since I loaded with some meeting actually in between. Okay. Yesterday we have seen volumes and network, right? And related notes you will be fine tomorrow since I have to prepare for you guys the notes and I will be uploading that in the classroom. Just please go and check your classroom. And most of the students are not accepted. Go and accept. The mails are already here. Go and accept the invitation. Okay. Okay. Now the important topic in Docker is Docker Compose. After practicing the network and the volume, we need to know about the Docker Compose. What does mean by a compose? Okay, let's understand the challenge first. I have one container, second container, and third container. I have three containers in the server. These three containers are responsible. This is UI, this is business logic, and this is a database like Redis and something. Okay, three containers I'm running. I want these three containers should be communicated. So these three can be on the bridge network, or these three can be on the user defined network. If you keep this in another network, so your business logic or your database layer will not connect. So your application will not work. You should ensure always related containers should be in the same network. If it is in the different network, you have to do some routing configuration. You have to do some routing configuration to here in the server, like static routing. You need to do a static routing. You need to configure some protocols and all, but this is not necessary now. It's a previous case when the data center is the matter. Okay, data center where traditional DevOps, where traditional configurations are going on, like 2014, that time is there. But since we are with advanced technology, we can configure like this and we can orchestrate with the Kubernetes. To understand this process, I have three containers. Like as usually we are doing a practice, right? To run this one container, to run this container, to run this container, how many commands I need to run? I have to run for UI, I need to build an image. I need one command and then I have to run container. I need another command. Two commands. Two commands. Two commands. Total 6 commands. Right? Can't I automate without running the 6 commands? Yes, that is going to happen with Docker Compose. You're composing the Docker files in order to run at a time 3 containers. It's not only 3 containers. How many you want to run, you can run them. So you need to create a file docker -compose.yml file. You need to write that in the YML file. You need to write that in the YML file. Okay. Then it is going to happen. Okay. So let me create a file for it and then we can do some little practice with that. We have multiple repositories already available. We can practice that. So what I'll do, I'll go to Killer Coda. I'll start. Docker images. Nothing is there. Docker PS. Nothing is there. Okay. You need to install apt install Docker Compose. Okay. I think already Docker Compose is installed. So let's say Docker Compose. You need to give hyphen. Okay. It's already installed. You can get few repositories which are already there. Okay. I'll just take one repository. Let me copy that. Git clone. CD. Awesome apps. ls. You have these many code files. You can see you have these many code files. I just want to go into the one of the folder. Uh, Wait a minute. We can take its Netless Cloud Progress and Golang Plex. Which one will be the good one? Vue.js, WordPress SQL. Let's go into the WordPress SQL. ls. I have a compose file here. So what I'll do a compose.yml cat. When you do, this is your YAML. You have to first write the services and you're stating the service and then you're stating the image directly. So if you're not having this image, you are doing the custom image, then you have to place Docker file. Okay, Docker file. Now, since we are directly calling this images MariaDB and MySQL, and it is going to run a command like MySQL native password, and it is running with the volume. You can see volume and restart always. These are the environments. Like some WordPress is the root password, database password is WordPress, user is WordPress, and the password is WordPress. The expose port numbers of the first one is 3306 and the second one is 33060. Your MariaDB and as well as your MySQL. And then WordPress image is loading. WordPress image is loading, you can see. So this is WordPress configuration. Now, since it is asking db underscore data, this is a value, it need to be created here. So what I'll do mkdir create this db data. Okay, ls it is created. Okay, now I would like to up this one. WordPress will going to run on 8080 port number. 8080 port number. So this is why YML is very easy. Wherever you go, you can find this script from the Docker documentation. It's not that hard. I'll tell you. You can see our files also. Docker compose up. If you give like this, it will generate logs. If you give the correct command is like this, docker-compose -d, it is going to run in the background up or build. So it is going to run your thing. Otherwise, you can give build if it is not taking build. Build also it is not taking. Why it's not taking? Then let me remove -d. Create bundle down port run scale stop up the container. Docker -compose up build. Is it not install the compose here? apt install compose -y. It's telling that reading building Docker compose is already installed with this. Then compose is already installed. Then why it is not taking? Build bundle config create down event exec images skill logs passport. It should be top up only. Nope. Up should automatically take. So let's follow your command then. Docker-compose up -build. No, it's not taking. Compose file is the one it is going to pick up your any file. Okay. It's a YML file it looks for. Basically, the file name can be anything. It will take the file when you run. Yes, it's a custom name. You can run that. Let me check the commands why it is not taking. So what we'll do, docker-compose -help. So when we give the -, f argument and options of the command. So f is a file, specify the file and specify the alternative project name. F and compose is the file name and you can give up. No, unsupported config options for the volume. When you give up, it's telling that unsupported config for the data and WordPress. Okay, then the volume should be created properly. So what we can do, which is Docker usr bin docker networks ls inspect. We don't have a volume. Yeah. So what we need to do here, we need to find out the exact path of the our volume, so we can create the volume in it. What we will do, pwd root avsum mysql and the data. We have to do bind mount volume with the system or user defined mount volume. If I do here, so it will not read properly since it is not in the Docker home directory. So we can try to implement. Hang up with me. So what I'll try to do, compose, then since it is not there, I'll just remove the volumes concept. Unsupported for a service for the WordPress. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's go to our repository. Hmm, I have a compose here, you can see. So I have a one client and I have one server. Okay, I'll just go into the client And if you see, I have a Docker file here one, so which is the client one, which is going to act like a UI. If you go to src index.js, so something is written here, and if you go to app.js, the code is here. Okay, the code is here. Go left and you can go to this server now. This is what it is going to handle as a routing in behind the scene. User, it's going to handle the user with your Mongo, and it is going to route. We have two services, two repositories, two folders and server for single application. I have one Docker file and I have another Docker file, two Docker files. Okay, I have docker-compose.yaml. What I'll do, if I go to compose, the script is like this. The first one is always your 3.7 or 3.8 version, and you need to write like services, write the client folder, and under that give a build dot client, so it will check out. And in this, wherever the Docker file is there, it will go and find out, it will run, and that is running on the 3000 port number and the server now. So in the server, it is running on the 5000 port number. Then it is depends on the Mongo. Means in the Mongo section, MongoDB database will pull the image and it will run on this port number, which all togetherly can communicate. So this is going to happen with your Docker Compose. I'll just copy this. You come and we have this one, right? Git clone. Let me go out. ls git clone. You give this one. CD student registration. ls. Now you can run docker-compose -f. So up. It's unsupported. You might be seeing this error because you are using the wrong compose file. Specify supported version is 2.2. I think this version is not properly here. Let's go to our server itself. The the environment that we took, it's not supporting with the versions. Let me enter the password. I'll go into start this instance. We have Jenkins. Okay, now what I do, git clone, come here, take this. So before that, let me apt install docker compose y and git clone docker hyphen compose up. See, it is now running. It's directly pulling your from node 14 image from your docker file. And now it is trying to communicate with your client. And those are the some dependencies and the plugins which are unsupported in the terms of npm. Okay, you can see clearly. So this has to be fixed if it is not work. What it is saying, it is deprecated. Whenever you see deprecated, that means it is not supporting the service, whatever the programming language, it's not supporting the particular version. Let's wait for it to run. Now you can see it is running Mongo. It is started. Client 1 is started and it is asking to access on the 3000. Okay. So since we are not given -d is a flag, -d is a flag, so it is not running in the background. It is generating this much logs to us. So when you give -d, then it will run in the background. And now I can come to the server and take IP address and search for 3000 colon 3000. So it's ask you something like you can enter something called uh, like this. You can say something like this and @gmail, and then you can enter something password, then it will register. So please use Gmail account. If you give .com only, it will take register. See, it is submitted. Just a normal UI and the backend. Now let's go and deploy the another one. It's recorded your log at the Mongo. Now I would like to stop it. If you do Control C, it automatically stops. See, stopping the containers. Stopping containers. It's stopped. Let me go back and build another one. Like we have previously I pulled this awesome ops, right? I can take the same one, have some compose. WordPress. Now you can just go into the what we can I do? Docker volume. First I'll do cat compose.yml and docker create volume db-data. Docker volume create. Okay. Docker volume ls. You have data. Now docker hyphen compose hyphen d up hyphen d. If I take up, oh, it's given error. Failed to reach to the layer, right user bin, no space left in device. Okay. df-h 99% used. Which is 1.2, 4.6, 9.2, 9.2, 409. Docker rm. You can give a dollar open bracket docker ps hyphen a. Okay. Order in progress hyphen 2 one thing. Stop them. Container, no such containers are there. Hmm. All the comments has to be passed, then why it's not giving that the container is not no such Jenkins or user bin. No image is not there. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll run up. So I have saved some space since I have deleted the persistence images. DB1 is running. If you go and search for 5000, you should able to see something. Okay, still not. That means the content is not yet ready. MariaDB socket, binary distributions. Okay, creating WordPress, done, complete. Stunning DB user. So it should open up. According to the compose file, no, it is the first port number or the last port number. I think in the Docker compose file, 3000 there. 3000 or 5000 would be the one. No, I have fetch right already here. Yeah, this is the one. WordPress SQL event. What is the port number here? 3306 and 3360. That is the database port number, and WordPress is running on 80. Sorry, 80. Why it is taking this one? 80. It's loaded. You can see. I can go for English or Telugu. It's better to go with English. English. UK. Now you can set up your site title like see DevOps something. Username. What would be our username? WordPress username is WordPress DB. DB name is WordPress. Password is WordPress. And the password is also a WordPress, which is very weak, like EMR DevOps at Gmail. Install WordPress. Now you can log in. WordPress login. It's your WordPress console now. You can build your websites with this. For example, the pages and sample. See, direction it's giving you. The application be deployed with a database. With a database. If I choose one of the template, for example, I can configure a website like this, and I can configure some of the plugins and everything. Okay. So most of the sites right now are working on the WordPress like this. Its own websites that you can work on WordPress and you can expose with your DNS. You just need to edit MR TechOps website, and since if I would like to publish this, go and publish, and while you're going to publish, this is our public IP. Publish. If I copy this, and come here and search it here, copy. See, it came with your one of your public IP address. Public IP address. What is our public IP? 13.126.175.99. 13.126.175.99, and this is created as your container. See, it is running as a container. DB also running, your logic also running. Now you can easily host your website. And if you want to add any extra things, you can go for plugins, add plugins. You want to add users, or you want to do all a website kind of settings, you can do it here. Okay, so this is something a kind of real world applications which most of the white labeled applications also working on the WordPress itself. If you see most of the institutions, even my one also is running on the cPanel, Hostinger, and here the same kind of thing. Most of the institutions websites are running on the WordPress. Same. If you are not able to afford for your container with your own domain, then you have to go with a WordPress official managed services. So that is also possible. But this is something I have created. I can create multiple websites. This is how your Shopify is running. Okay. If you see Shopify, that is completely with a container based only. I ran 3-4 containers and you can see the logs. Whenever and whatever you're doing, it's clearly creating the logs. You can see these are all containers. Right now it's running as containers. The same thing we're going to do with containers in Kubernetes. We're going to do in Kubernetes. And I would like to stop this one and we'll discuss one more application, Control C. And if you give docker ps -a, so 2 containers are exited. Okay, I don't want them to run here, so I'm going to remove them. And also I'm going to delete the images as well. I don't want the images as well. Lots of images are there. So let me come back. Docker images. So I just want to tell you about one application which is everyday life. You are seeing one application, it's called Netflix. If we go to our repository, you have a repository here. You have a repository here. Click on repositories and click on Netflix clone sample. In this, we have a Docker file. You can see a Docker file. This is our Docker file. So in this Docker file, we have a multi-stage Docker file. We are calling from a node Alpine as a builder. We are creating app and we are copying .package.json and yarn and we are running yarn install, and then whatever there we are copying, and this is the argument that we are passing. This values you need to get from developer. Okay, so this particular argument is my API key, and this is what my API key is. So what happened when this building packages happen, and then we are calling one more container is Nginx, and in this Nginx folder we are copying that app, whatever the building packages are there, we are copying into the app dist copy, run it on 80, run the Nginx. This is multi-stage Docker file. So whenever your application works with a DB. So DB. Now I have my application here, front-end container, and logic also here. Logic also here. And I want to get a database. So when you want to connect this database, it will be going to connect with your API. You need to create an API here and you need to get one API key. So that key you have to keep it at your UI side. This is the same thing how your Zomato, Uber, all are working. When you are going to Uber, while you are paying payment, how does it is apps accepting the payment from the phone pay, Google Pay, or your credit card or a debit card? How? Because Uber went to a phone pay, asked that I have number of customers who can do a payment on phone pay. So they will create an API for Zomato, Swiggy. So that API, this Zomato will they invoke into their application, and that's how you're able to see the option. Whenever you click on, you will be directing to the phone pay dashboard, pay UPI. Okay, when you did a payment with this, it will come here and it will confirm here and it will confirm back to you on your Zomato. Okay, so there will be two bank accounts will be involved from here and here, acquirer also. These transactions will be happen with your API. The same thing now here, the Netflix application we are going. This is API. What API? We are doing a Netflix sample clone, which it can play the movie also. That means I need a database. Where can I find the database? I'm not having. So TMDB is a database. Go TMDB, search for TMDB. The movie database, most of the movies are here. Most of the movies are here. So this is the database. We create account, we go to developer option, we create one API. So I have created that. Okay. If you log in, you can go to settings, create API, then copy this ID and keep it in your Docker file. So I already created this. What I'll do, I'll clone this one. Okay. Git clone cd netflix ls docker build -t netflix dot. So it is building my image. Yes, it's completed. Okay. Docker images. Docker run -itd -p80:80. I'll just give Netflix. Okay. Docker ps. It's running. What I'll do, I'll come to my IP address. So this is my IP address, right? I'll come to my IP address and I'll run it. It's loaded my Netflix, and it is also going to play a movie. Okay, if you come and just trying to play a movie, so if you come like this or like this, it will going to play a movie. Like this. It's fetching from the database only. Okay, you can also try it out. Are you able to access it or not? Given IP address in chat. So the same way your databases will be connect. It's not the container, it is going to be something. Okay, something database. It's going to connect from your RDS or from your external database at the on premises. Okay, and then it will fetch to your application. This is how we run application and we connect. The same thing we have to do with the Kubernetes. And the same thing we do at ML side also. We deploy the model like this, and the model is going to add as an API into the application. Whenever you are doing, see, these all are running, the suggestions are very generalized suggestions. But when you go and play movies, if I go and play movie, it is not going to change the pattern. But in your actual Netflix, it is going to change the pattern. It will give you suggested movies accordingly because there is a model running behind. A model, machine learning model is running behind. And any website that you are going, it's running behind. Your WhatsApp meta is running behind. And you have option also, chat GPT. So these are all, it's work like your uh, containers. Okay. Now you have any questions? So I can stop this. Docker PS or Docker images. Okay. Is anyone having question? If you all clear, so please complete your practice. We're going to start with the Kubernetes. Okay. And once we had a good understanding, we'll be going to start with our CACD in order to deploy. Okay. History. Copy this. I'm pasting the history in the chat. You can all copy this. Oh, it's exceeded already. So I'll be adding into the classroom. I'll be adding the history in the classroom. Just please go and check. Okay. So I need the practice of Docker from everyone. Tomorrow, let's have the doubt sessions. If you're not able to do, just please let me know. We can sort it out tomorrow as a doubt session. And if you're all clear, we can move forward. No one is not even speaking. Your mics are open.